Welcome to our fifth episode of Hashtag Eat, Sleep, Breathe Football. Dito lang yan sa ang tito mong football blogger, Tito Jamer de la Cruz, habang tito mong football blogger and Huddle PH once again with you guys. Shout out sa lahat ng nanonood, yun lang, agad-agaran. Quick announcement, Jersey Dior is back in the business. Open na ulit sila. You can go to their shop sa Society 8. Open na ang branch nila sa Taft Avenue. Ang pagkakausap sa akin ni Tito is open na sila sa Taft Avenue. Message nyo na rin yung kanilang page. If you would like to buy football kits like this or football jacket na kagaya na to. Yan. So, pa-promote lang ng Very Light. What else? Yan. So, introduce na natin ang gang, ang ating grupo. Nandito na naman ang ating mga kaibigan. First and foremost, Sir Aaron Bayato of Radyo Pilipinas 2 and John 11 Gilmar. Charot. John 11 Gozon ng Ultra Series. Magandang hapon sa inyo mga kaibigan. Kamusta ka dyan? Starting off with you, Sir Aaron.
Pero hindi pa ganun rush hour traffic. So, pero nananatili pa rin sa bahay kasi for, safety reasons.
Yan ang importante sa lahat. You
Thank you po.
stay dyan muna sa, kung wala namang gagawin, stay lang sa loob ng bahay. Unlike Sir Aaron, kasi yan si Sir Aaron, meron siyang program sa Radyo Pilipinas at 7 p.m. mamaya. Yun, kailangan niya lumabas ng bahay. Ikaw, Onse, kamusta ang GCQ dyan sa Bacolod?
Okay naman. Medyo marami na lumalabas. So, ganun pa rin. Pag walang importanteng gagawin sa labas ng bahay, huwag mo nang lumabas. Stay home just to be safe. Kasi di ka nakasigurado, wala mong vaccine. So, everything is okay naman.
Ayan, stay safe muna tayo sa loob ng bahay. At kung kayo lalabas, parang awa na lang sa inyo. Ang pinakamaganda nyong gawin is habang naglalakad kayo sa labas, sinasabi nyo na layuan nyo ako virus, layuan nyo ako virus. Yun na lang muna. Yun na lang muna ang ating gawin kasi yun lang talaga ang magagawa natin kung kailangan talagang lumabas ng bahay. Anyway, before our interviews for today, we're just happy na we have reached our fifth episode ng ating podcast and maraming salamat sa lahat ng nanonood, sa lahat na nagko-comment. Maraming salamat sa masigabong palakpakan tayo dyan mga kaibigan. At sana napupunan namin yung mga pangangailangan nyo, yung pagkamis nyo sa football. Sana nagagawa namin ng paraan. Kasi kahit kami, boring na kami, siguro naubos ko na yung mga football videos or football documentaries sa Netflix, sa Amazon Prime, at kung saan-saan man. So, I hope na nakatutulong kami sa pagpawi ng inyong kaburingan sa buhay gawa nitong pandemic na to. Maraming salamat din sa mga sumasali sa ating contest. Paalala lang po, yung contest natin, as much as gusto naming ipadala, para sa kaalaman ng lahat, as much as gusto namin ipadala ngayon yung mga prizes and all, nahihirapan kami gawa nga ng quarantine. So meron pa rin mga branches na hindi nagbubukas, may mga branches pa rin na hindi tumatanggap ng kung ano man. So bali yun yung pinaka-issue namin ngayon. But don't worry, yung mga winners na yan, nakausap ko na message ko na, sabi ko sa kanila, stay put lang, hindi kayo mawawalan, hindi rin kayo magkakaroon, joke lang, hindi kayo mawawalan, akong bahala sa inyo. Tapusin lang natin to pag okay na, padala natin and yun. Syempre maraming salamat din sa ating silent sponsor na tumutulong sa atin, yun nga. At ayun, so before ang exciting part natin na si James Younghusband ng Ceres Negros FC and Philippine Nascals, as well as Coach Yo Casal ng Luntian Futsal School and Esports International Incorporated, meron lang kaming konting balita sa inyo sa larangan ng football. Kamakailan lang nagsimula na ang Bundesliga, nag-resume na sila. Ito yung match results nila, and this is the first of the top flight football leagues in Europe na nakapag-start na. So let's take a look sa mga nangyari. Starting off with Bundesliga, again, things are looking very clear na ito na yung magiging new normal. Walang fans sa loob ng stadium. Almost 300 lang ang nasa loob ng stadium na personnel and all. So, ayun. Borussia Dortmund returned to the action by winning 4 goals to 0 against Schalke 04 in the Riviera Derby, thanks to a goal from Erling Haaland, Torgan Hazard, and a brace from Rafael Guerrero. Sa sumunod na game, Yusuf Paulsen saved Red Bull Leipzig's blushes after his equalizer on the 77th minute against Freiburg, while Hertha Berlin won 3 goals to 0 away from home against Hoffenheim. Fortuna Dusseldorf and SC Paderborn settled for a scoreless draw, while Wolfsburg needed to wait for a late winner from Daniel Ginczek to secure a win on the road against Augsburg. Next up is strong start gave Borussia Mönchengladbach a 3-1 victory against the host Eintracht Frankfurt, while FC Cologne and Mainz settled for an entertaining 2-2 draw. Ito naman, the defending champions Bayern Munich got a win in the bag thanks to Robert Lewandowski and Benjamin Pavard scoring from either half sa game nila. I think that was against sino nga ba yung nakalaban nila rito? Union Berlin. And lastly, Bayer Leverkusen secured a 4-1 masterclass over Werder Bremen thanks to a brace from Kai Havertz, a goal from Mitchell Weiser and Kerem Demirbay. So, for all the standings, results, and details ng Bundesliga, you can visit their official Facebook page, the Bundesliga Facebook page, as well as yung kanilang website. So, before we move on sa ating susunod na balita, I'd like to ask your opinion, starting off with Jan Once. With the resumption nitong Bundesliga, nabibigyan na tayo ng linaw kung paano mangyayari ang mga football events all across the globe. Sa tingin mo, ano yung magiging impact nito sa general viewership ng football fans, hindi lang sa buong mundo, kundi especially dito sa atin sa Pilipinas?
Well, personally, nung nabalitaan ko, nakita ko yung game between Schalke and Dortmund. Parang nabuhayan ako ng loob kasi nakita ko yung top flight league sa Europe, sa mga top flight league sa Europe is nag-resume na. So meaning noon, parang unti-unti nang bumabalik yung football sa buong mundo. Kasi yung Korean League simula na rin. The Liga, I think simula na training na yung Premier League nag-training na rin. So parang nakakabigay siya ng pag-asa, and hopefully yung local league natin ng PFL magkaroon na rin ng mga guidelines and protocols para at least masimulan na or ibalita na sila kung kailan magsisimula yung league.
Tama ka dyan, Jan. Now, bago tayo pumunta kay Sir Aaron Bayato, papakita ko lang to isang short clip lang naman from Bundesliga on how Borussia Dortmund celebrated their victory against FC Schalke. Panoorin nyo to, mga pamangkickers.
It's a strange day in front of where the yellow wall would be. Dortmund celebrates in social distancing fashion. The fans are not there, but wherever they are, they'll be happy.
So, ayun, quick thought lang dun sa video na yun. We have seen Borussia Dortmund celebrate in front of the infamous yellow wall without the fans. So, medyo nakakalungkot kasi itong stadium nila, Signal Iduna Park, they're very well known when it comes to that yellow wall na punong-puno ng Borussia Dortmund fans. But as things look like nung resumption ng kanilang liga is walang fans. So, Sir Aaron, ikaw, sa tingin mo, what will be the impact of the resumption of the Bundesliga to all the leagues across the globe as well as yung magiging trabaho natin sa larangan ng industriya ng pagsusulat at pagre-report?
Mhm. Thank you, Tito J and Sir Jan. Actually, yung second game na pinalabas ng Bundesliga, kasi there was a game 9:30 p.m. oras sa atin sa Pilipinas. There was another one na medyo past midnight na sa atin eh. The Frankfurt versus the Mönchengladbach. Tama ba
Mm.
pronunciation ko dun?
Ah,
Okay, alright. So, 3-1
Frankfurt
yung
and
final score nun.
Mönchengladbach, tama.
Ayun. And then, 3-1 ang score noon. Unang blow pa lang ng whistle, nakascore na kagad si Mr. Alassane Playa. Napansin ko kasi ang tumatak sa akin yung halftime kasi napaka-busisi, napaka-assailant, kung yun na yung tamang term. Bola, punas, yung field, may mga players, may sinapasok dun sa isang machine yung kamay nila para sanitize. So, napakaganda ng protocols na hinda nung kanilang NSA at the same time yung ng German government. Pero nabasa ko din sa Deutsche Welle na hindi lahat ng public pabor na mag-resume yung sport. They're a football country pero given na marami pang mga battles ng Germany against COVID-19. So many of them are not yet in favor. So inisip ko siya na bawang mag-resume kahit yung Philippines Football League natin na there's also optimism na act up natin yung mga protocols na yun. Hindi man sa but at least masunod natin yung mga basic protocols na ibibigay ng Department of Health na susundin naman ng PSC, Philippine Sports Commission, and eventually ng Philippine Football Federation. But how are we going to send a message na the resumption of sport will be a message of hope, not as we're just trying to basta mailaro lang and not, kumbaga parang basta may taos lang, bahala na kung ano maging repercussions. We still want na madaos yung league in the safest way na lahat ng tayo, media, of course, ang pinaka-importante, the players and the staff sa media, the fans who will be watching eventually pagka pwede nang manood, but syempre close to yan, will be safe and away from infections.
Ayun, thank you so much sa thoughts mo, Sir Aaron. Ako, all I'm hoping for is itong resumption ng Bundesliga na masusundan pa ng ibang leagues like La Liga, Premier League, Serie A. Andiyan na sila, nakahilera na yung top flight football league ng Europe. So, we hope na makakuha ng best practices ang Philippine Football Federation and Philippines Football League. Gaya nga ng nabanggit natin noong nakaraang podcast na meron na silang binuong committee para dito. So, may action plan na sila para dito. So, hopefully, by the start na, siguro kung mag-GCQ na dito sa Metro Manila and mag-start ng mag-subside yung cases ng COVID-19, we're not expecting this to end like as in agad-agaran. For sure, matagal pa to. Mahabang laban pa to. Kaya nga, ang mga fans sa Germany, medyo salungat din ang kanilang paniniwala in terms of resumption of the league. But nevertheless, at least, meron na nakapagpakita ng top flight kung ano yung ginagawa nila and sunod-sunod na yan kasi we can check on the guidelines na pwedeng sundin ng Philippines Football League or kung sino man liga. Now, the other news that we do have for you guys is dito naman sa La Liga. Things are looking clearer now for the Spanish League as group training marks the next phase of La Liga's return to training protocols. Like last week, nag-start na sila mag-training individually. Now they are into group trainings. So teams can now conduct their group sessions regardless of the varying lockdown rules in place within each team's region. La Liga President Javier Tebas said that the start of the next phase in La Liga's return to training protocol is another step towards restarting of the competition. The league is expected to return on the 12th of June, and Tebas also said, "That's what I hope. We shouldn't have any problems playing on Mondays across the 11 rounds of matches we have left to play." So, ayun, isa pang developing story is yung top flight league ng Spain, which is La Liga. They're already conducting their training sessions. Nagsimula na rin sila. They started off with the first phase is yung individual training. Meron sa isang training facility nila, there are only like 5 or 6 first team players na pwedeng mag training at the same time with social distancing protocols. And then this week they have started with their group training session. So isang napakagandang development, at least nabibigyang linaw na tayo in terms of kung ano yung pwedeng gawin din ng football clubs dito sa Pilipinas in terms of pagre-resume ng training nila as their preparation towards the upcoming league. So, yon, I guess we have covered most of the stories or news na kailangan yung malaman, mga pamangkickers, and hanggang sa muli. Medyo
Yun na yun.
yun na yun. Hindi,
Oh,
joke
yun na
lang.
yun.
Joke lang. Hindi, ayun. Yun lang. So, siguro hinay-hinay, hintay-hintay na lang tayo mga pamangkikers. Konti na lang. We're already there. Kumbaga, nakakapanood na tayo ng football eh. Meron ng mga lumalabas na games na may Korean League, merong may Taiwan League dito sa Asia. Southeast Asia, malapit na rin mag-start ang Vietnam League. I believe mag-start na rin sila or nag-start na sila ng training nila last week. So hopefully they will start in the next couple of weeks. Makita na rin natin yung ginagawa ng kapitbahay natin na Vietnam. Yan yung pinaka inaabangan ko personally, kasi yan yung pinaka malapit sa atin at yan yung pinaka pwede natin gayahin in terms of their safety protocol sa sasagawa ng liga nila ulit. Madalian lang, merong mga nagpapa-shoutout sa akin. Si JM Pat, thank you sa pagsabi na wala akong audio kanina. Napansin ko rin yon. Parang 2 minutes ako nagsayang ng laway na wala akong kausap. And Sir Jorex Cruz, admin po ng PFLFU, thank you for watching. Si Idol, Jovin Bedic ng Kaya FC Iloilo is also watching, I believe so. Thank you.
The Phil Croatian.
The Phil Croatian, Jovin Bedic. maraming salamat, Kapitan, sa pagtutok sa aming stream. Sana ikaw naman ang kasama namin by next week.
You know,
Sana ikaw ang kasama namin next week. Ayun. Ano pa bang gusto nyong pag-usapan bago natin kausapin si Papi James? Kasi kailangan na medyo matindihang build-up yung ating interview. Yes, Sir Aaron.
Ako, may quick question ako. Medyo pa related kay Papi James. Kasi di ba nagkaroon ng bagong parang rules na dahil sa COVID, substitutions. So, parang 5. Nalaw na 5 yung substitutions. Sir, personal take nyo doon? Kasi okay siya, pero parang naisip ko, siguro dahil nasanay tayo sa basketball, na bakit dagdagan pa kaya yung substitutions para naman kung safety din ang iisip. Your take on that?
Kasi ayun, thank you so much for bringing that up. Meron kasing bagong rule na nilabas si FIFA na may implement sa mga leagues all around the globe. Wherein, instead of the usual 3 substitutions na pwedeng gawin ng clubs, dadagdagan ng 2. So, 5 substitutions in a game. Pero ang instance kasi niyan ganito. Usually, kapag magsasub ka sa football, you only have 3 instances kasi meron kang 3 players lang napapasok sa game. So, you can use 2 at 1 substitution or 1 substitution per instance. Ngayon, nasa laws ng FIFA, as far as I know, sa aking nabasa, you only have 3 instances as well to use those substitution per team. So, for example, you want to use all 5 of your subs, no? Meron kang 5 subs na ipapasok. First instance mo is you can go all out. You can put 3 substitutions if you want, kung gusto mo na. And then the next 2 instances, you can have 1 substitute each instance. Second is, pwede kang magdalawa, isa. Pwede mo ring sabayan yung kalaban mo na mag-substitute kasi alam ko kasama rin yun sa mga instances. But my personal take on this is okay siya in terms of getting the physical fitness or the match fitness of the players back into the groove sa liga. Kasi alam naman natin na ang liga is mahaba. With the Philippines Football League playing 6-7 clubs in the entire league, they face each other 2 or 3 times in the league at napakaraming games. So in between that, Ceres and Kaya are playing in the AFC Cup. So it plays a major role, especially for these two clubs, na magkaroon ng extra substitution during the time that we are coping up with the COVID-19 pandemic para makapag-prepare sila ng maayos and at least kahit papano nandun yung match fitness nila week in, week out. Especially kung meron pa silang weekday matches na nilalaro. And this is not gonna be permanent, I think. Kasi magiging unfair siguro sa mga
Oo nga, no?
clubs. Magiging
Oo.
unfair sa mga clubs na yung starting 11 nila is yun na yung jam-pack lineup nila. Wherein, for example, like Ceres Negros FC, they have a very deep bench with the likes of James Younghusband starting from the bench. Maraming players na nasa bench like sobrang dami na players na pwedeng pumasok na magbibigay ng disadvantage sa kalaban nila kung sakali na hindi pa stuck yung lineup nila. So, it should not be permanent in my perspective, but if that's how we can cope up over the next few months, years, or whatever nitong pandemic na to, then by all means, let's just follow. So, ito, may isa ako i-raise na tanong nga pala kay Onse kasi on a fan's perspective, ito nga yung dahilan kung bakit merong eat, sleep, breathe football. Gusto nating mag-cope up by hearing the stories ng mga players, kung paano sila nagsimula, reactions nila sa mga dating laro nila and all. Ikaw, dyan, sa tingin mo, would it help pa na madagdagan yung ganitong podcast? I mean, we're not up for competition. Okay lang kahit ilan kaming nasa platform or kahit ilan kaming nasa Facebook na nagla-live stream about Facebook. Sa tingin mo okay lang na dumami yung podcasters na nagtatakal about Facebook? Ayan, running out of time na raw tayo. Mabilisan lang.
Para sa akin, okay kasi it's a good venue and outlet para sa mga tao kasi during quarantine time, most of us or lahat tayo nasa cellphone, internet. So this a good way para at least ma mawala ba yun or maibisan yung pagka-miss natin sa sport. At the same time, updated tayo sa kung ng mga nangyayari.
Ayun. So, thank you so much dun sa thought na yun. Sir Aaron, Jan, stay with me. Tayo ay magbabalik at sa ating pababalik kasama na natin si Papa James Younghusband ng Ceres Negros FC. Dito lang yan sa hashtag Eat, Sleep, Breathe, Football. Welcome back to the show, mga pamangkickers. The moment that we have been waiting for is here. Joining us in today's podcast is the Philippines midfielder and Ceres Negros FC midfielder. Please welcome everyone, Sir James Younghusband.
But we didn't realize it'd be this long. We just have to deal with the cards we're dealt, and I've just been trying to keep myself as busy as possible, trying to keep fit. So I think last year, last year I had that whole experience where I took 8 months off playing, and then of course it was I signed for Sarah's and it was getting my fitness back, and of course I want to avoid that situation. I want to come back and playing again with Sarah's, and I'm trying my best to look 5 to 6 times a week, doing it at usual time that we train at Ceres, so my body's used to it, my body clock, and of course eating right, the usual really, and of course we have to be as professional as we can as players and make sure that we're ready. Yeah, so I've just been keeping busy with my workouts, doing a lot of watching of Netflix, and it was good to see the Bundesliga back. I watched the first games back then, and was interesting, and as well, I'm living in the. I'm at the moment trying to tap in. I said on my. I said the other day to the guys at Adidas, I'm currently always going out on YouTube watching football highlights from when I was a kid of the glory days of glory days of Manchester United when they won the treble, and watching David Beckham clips, Cristiano Ronaldo clips. And it's good to see like football then as well, and relive my childhood memories from those days.
Yeah, at least you have your own way of coping up with the
Yeah,
pandemic or the lockdown that we are experiencing now.
yeah,
You've mentioned that you had this time away from football, like after Davao Aguilas actually left the
yeah,
Philippines Football League. Sad to hear that. It took like 7 or 8 months before you got back to club football with Ceres Negros
yeah.
FC. How are you gelling as of the moment with the team before this pandemic happened?
I personally, as soon as I signed for Ceres, it was fantastic, and it's still been fantastic up until the lockdown. I mean, I've said this before. I've had such a great relationship with majority of the group because I've known them for years. We played for the Scouts, and then management I know as well with the likes of Ace Bry and with Doc Wally as well with Azcal. So the transition was made easier as well. The all the personalities I was working with for the first time, such as I've known Coach Risto through playing against Sarah's before, and I was really looking forward to the chance to getting to work with him and getting to learn off him, especially. It's been interesting getting to know the personalities because when you play from other teams and you play against these players, you just see them for the footballers, but you don't really get to know them off the field. And I've been given that chance, and as every single personality is fantastic, and it's I'm really enjoying my football at Spurs, and so me, I'm really eager to get back playing again, and get back to work and come into training each day, and enjoy playing football again with the boys.
Yeah. Now, with the Ceres Negros FC, unlike with the other clubs that you've played in, like Davao Aguilas, Meralco, Manila FC, it seems like you're still in the process of earning yourself, let's say, your minutes in regards
Yeah,
to
yeah,
playing for Ceres Negros FC. Now,
yeah.
how do you feel about this process of you having to, fight for your starting position, just like how it started out when you were playing football before?
Um, Effectively, I think that's what's needed. Uh, um, One of the main reasons I wanted to join Ferris was because of the high competition for places. I didn't want to go anywhere where I could afford to just go and have it on like give it 50% in training, and I wanted to go somewhere, especially in my last remaining years of playing. Really, I'm in my 30s now, and I've got I want to play as much as I can. You want to play as much as you can, but you also want to play so I always wanted to be pushed really, and the competition for places is what motivated me to join really. Of course, there's such high level of competition of players as well, and of course there was the interesting part of me also wanting to have the opportunity to have some minutes in playing AFC really because I find that's a different experience as well. So it's that's for me. I'm looking forward to coming back and working hard and showing that I want to get more minutes, and I believe that opportunity will come really, especially like we have. Hopefully, we'll get the AFC going again, and then of course we have the league. I believe going into this league, I'm more prepared as a player because last year I was just coming back and getting into my fitness, but now this time I've had the opportunity at the start of the year, and my football fitness and my general fitness is much better than it was compared to last year. Yeah, it's a matter of just taking my opportunity when it comes. Oh, sorry. hear you.
Ito, I think
All right,
your
sorry.
audio.
Mic is turned off, no worries. So there, thank you so much for the answer. While I'm gathering the
That's all right.
answers of our or the questions of our fans, I'd like to ask Sir Aaron Beato. Aaron, do you have any
Yeah, sure.
questions that you do have for James?
Yeah, first of all, Sir James, good to see you again, sir. Um,
Hi, lad. Good to see you.
yeah, hoping you're doing well and safe. Just because I remember when we went to Davao for Palarong Pambansa last year.
Oh yeah.
Um,
So,
yeah, with Ms. Ria and also Coach Jojo, Jojo
yeah.
Durian. The purpose of your travel was, aside from the Palarong Pambansa festivities, was also to do camps for
Yeah.
the youth, if I'm not mistaken. How
Yeah.
important is it to for you and also fellow football superstars in the Philippines to pass the knowledge to the young generations of this beautiful game of football, especially here in the
Uh,
Philippines?
yeah. It's a good question, Aaron. I believe it's the most important. Actually, during this whole pandemic, actually, it's given me a lot of time to reflect on some things and self. How do I say this? Self-evaluation, really. And as I said earlier, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and reliving my memories of when I was watching those games live of Manchester United. And it's amazing what you think of at that time as a young kid, and it's a whole different world to. And it's like I said, if only I knew what I knew now back then, how much of an advantage
Mhm.
that would have been, how much how that experience, and that's why I find it so valuable to pass on that knowledge. I compared the likes of how the game was in the Premier League in the early in the 90s compared to the 2000s, and how much the game has evolved really. And I think that's what we have to keep up. And I think our youth is very important really. As a young player, you see the game, but in the future, the game's going to be completely different, and that's because of the knowledge the coaches and former players pass on to the young ones. I think a good example of that is what I had the opportunity. We all had the opportunity to watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan on Netflix,
Mhm.
and I think it's just what you just listen to Michael Jordan and what he passes on, and as an athlete, you understand what he means. And I think it's so important that he himself he said he's passing on that knowledge, what he learned, and when he was a player to the young players in the team. Really, he was a different player when he was young to when he was older, and so it's very important. I personally, when I stop playing, I would love to travel around the Philippines and pass on what I've learned with both the Azcals and with Sarah's to the younger players, because very great which said this. It's a different feeling, but a fantastic feeling of when you're a player and you achieve something on the field to when you're a coach and you see a player achieve something that you've helped pass on the knowledge to. So I'm looking forward to that, sharing my wisdom and knowledge with the young kids of the Philippines and seeing them achieve. And I'll be like, oh, I taught them that, and I taught them how to cross a ball, and they actually crossed in a great ball to score a goal. So I think it's very important.
Yeah, thanks for that, and of course,
Thanks, Aaron.
looking forward to see you conduct more camps. It was really a fun thing to do with you, and of course, Phil and other of our friends in the football community. Tito, thank you.
Thank you. Thank
James,
you so
thanks.
much.
All right, thank you so much for that, James. Now, you've mentioned about you traveling all over the Philippines to share your knowledge of football. I believe years back, you and your brother Phil have this football academy, the Young Husband Football
Yep.
Academy. Um,
Yeah.
right before the pandemic, how are things doing with the Young Husband Football Academy? I've seen Phil taking more focus on that, I believe, and you're going to be following his footsteps.
Um, well, actually, it's when it comes to our academy, we had good years before, and we still do actually. But I think we've learned to adapt with some situations. We've actually focused mainly on bringing the football into schools program. I find it's just, especially here in Manila, um, when it comes to I think logistics is just much more easier with when you do programs in the schools here. I think the school system here is very strong here. I think it's easier when we go into the schools and run football programs that way because you don't have to worry about the facilities in some ways. The facilities are already provided by the school, and of course, it's easier for the kids to travel wise. So it's going really well. That's another thing I see myself doing more of when I stop playing. I now and then, when I have the free time, I pop in to join in coaching with the kids in our academy here in Manila. But as well in the future, my goal is for us to do more networking and gain more sponsorship to allow us to travel more around the Philippines, to gain more sponsorship to allow us to travel around and so we can cover more ground and pass on our knowledge as Aaron said to really go out and reach different parts of the Philippines.
All right. Now, John, do you have any questions from your group or from you personally to James?
Uh, so there, James. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Chad. Good to see you too, bro. I
Yeah.
like that.
Since you mentioned a while ago that you have good relationship with most of the players with Cerex. So coming in with Coach Rista's style of play, how was it for you? How did you cope up with it?
No, I think it was. I remember the first time I joined. Of course, when you haven't played in a long time, you're like a bit. You feel like a bit nervous. You're always nervous when you haven't done something in a long time. You're worried how rusty you will be. But I'll never forget the first words Coach Risto said to me. He's like, "Can you play tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can play." But he's like, "Oh, you just enjoy." And I think it's just that approach. Like, it's like it reminded me again. You enjoy it, and again, that's why we're all into football. It's all about enjoying the game, really. The Coach Risto's training, every session's enjoyable, really. It's to perfection, really. It's we all leave with we're very competitive, so we leave with smiles on our faces after a good session, and you can see the amount of especially we have the amount of talent we have on the team, really, and it's been made easy as well by all the players being welcoming as well, and we all enjoy it. Of course, we push each other as well, and that's part of the game, and it's the whole. It's been as well. I find my style of play now that I'm older and I'm more seen as a target man, as a different option. So it's made it easier for me to settle in, and as well, like with the likes of the players I played with in ASCAS, really, I knew already their style of play, but at first it took me a while to get used to the likes of the players I hadn't played with before, such as Bienve, like Super, like Taka I played with before in Davao, so but I was even getting used to the style of Miguel Tanton last year. And of course, it's always that time. But again, it's what I've learned before. It's if you just keep doing something, your body, you'll all get used to each other. And that's what I mean. You can do anything as long as you stick to it and you're committed.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, bro.
It's Jay.
Is it working?
James, the mic.
All right.
The mic.
Okay. The mic.
I just want to listen and then turn my mic on mute, but no worries. So, like what I mentioned earlier, we have fans sending us questions. We have one
Yeah.
here from Bill Pakatang. This is what he said. Hello, James. You have been in the Askels team for a very long time. What is your most memorable moment as an Askels player and probably your best goal for the country?
Okay. That's a very good one. Very good two questions. I'd probably say my most fondest memory I have to say is it's Vietnam. I think when the miracle in Hanoi. I just found that was one where it was like just the whole experience of like us waking up, and I remember that whole day clearly. Actually, I I remember waking up, and obviously we just witnessed a couple of days before. Like we're still on a high because we drew with Singapore. But I remember we and then after that we watched Vietnam beat Myanmar 7-1, and
Mm.
then cool. And then I remember seeing on the ESPN or Fox guy saying that our game could be a cricket score, and it was a bit insulting, really, but a big motivating. And then I remember my brother had food poisoning,
Mm.
and then that added to it. And then I remember just us coming out, walking out, and like we could feel the electricity from the crowd. And I remember Del Rosario, he was like shaking, so excited. And then we got the result on the field. You could see like every single player, even if the ones who didn't play after we got the result in the changing room, everyone was so happy, and none of the players on the bench weren't happy that they did play. They were just so happy to be part of it. They even threw the ice on the floor and did Klinsmans, and then the soldiers of Vietnam were kicking us out of the stadium. And so for me, that whole yeah, we couldn't even shower. That whole and then we got back to the hotel, and the Singapore team was so like shaking our hands individually, and it was just the whole day as a process was like wow. So for me, I've had loads of great memories, but that's my biggest highlight of my whole ASCAL career. My best goal, best I'll probably say it wasn't for the senior team, but it was for the under 23s in Colot in Panaan
Mm.
when I scored a goal against under 23s. So I'd probably say that's my most favorite goal for the country. I think my senior goal was to maybe say my goal against Nepal, even though I don't know what happened with Nepal. And then when I scored the Holland, and because that was after my mum passed away, that whole week had been a bit tough, and just decided to dedicate it to my.
Yeah, I remember that goal that you mentioned against, or in the Sea Games back in Panad.
Yeah,
I believe that's where
yeah,
you
that's it.
have celebrated, like, did a somersault or something. One of my friends
No,
reminded me of that,
that's
or that's a different game.
no, that, my brother's the one who does that one. I haven't got, I haven't caught, I
Hang on. Think we have lost James out there.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
we go.
there we go.
I'm back. I'm
There.
back. um, yeah, that was my brother,
uh,
somersault. I haven't quite got the flexibility to do that one. But I think my celebrations, I just run around and scream. That's all I do.
That's really great to hear. Now, another question that we have here. This is like a three-part question. Our fans really would
Oh,
like to exhaust all of the time that they have to ask you
ah,
these
no,
questions.
I'm game. I'm
All
game. I'm
right,
game if you guys are.
no worries. Here we go. Nicole, John Londerio ask you three questions. First, what can you do on the pitch when you feel you aren't in a good form?
Oh, on the pitch, again, I think you have when you're not in good form, it just have to keep going. I think you have if you're not in good form, it keep it simple. I think you just have to get your confidence up again. I think it's like even just making a simple pass, a 5-yard pass. You just look to do the simple things well, rather than trying to make it. You shouldn't feel you have to do something too complicated to prove yourself. It's just keep it. I think if you could do the simple things well, then your confidence is fine, and you can afford to take more risks. But I think on the field, just keep it simple. Yeah, it's got it again.
Okay.
Yeah, mic is
Today,
off again, Jay.
yoo-hoo.
All right,
Today.
two more questions. I'm always having this problem. Sorry. Two more questions from John Londerio. Is first or the second question is, what's the most frustrating game you've ever been a part of, and how do you want the football fans here in the Philippines to remember a James Younghusband when it's all said and done?
Oh, very good questions. Um, I, I think I can give. I think I'll give two answers. I don't. I'll kind of give two answers to the first question. I'll give my most frustrating game locally, and I'll give my most frustrating game for the Yazcals.
Mhm.
Locally, I was one time when I played global. I think it was back when I played with Davao, and uh, global. We played global, and they went 1-0 up. Well, no, did they go 1-0 up? But I remember Milan. He kept kicking me and fouling me, and it was so hot as well. But it was like every time I got the ball, he just kicked me, and it's like he was seriously trying to hurt me. And I remember he kicked me one time, and went in the I went in the air, and I landed on my finger, and my finger's still a bit swollen actually from it. And this was like 2 years ago. So and then after that, he fouled me again, and I twisted my ankle, and my ankle swelled up. So then I had to be substituted. So that was my most frustrating game locally. But for the Azcals, I think it was frustrating. I think the frustrating time was when we were in the Maldives for the 2014 Challenge Cup. I think it was the first half when we played. I think we played Lao. We won 2-0. We got 2 goals in the second half. But the coach, I wasn't playing well, but the coach substituted me at the half time. And yeah, it was in Maldives where we played Lao. I just felt things weren't going right for me. I think I was still adapting to the new system, but that was my most frustrating game. But frustrating, but I had a bit of time away from the national team. It gave me time to think again about what I need to do, and again, that's what I did before. I just when I went back into the national team, I kept things simple. I didn't try to do anything too complicated, and yeah, but yeah, the game against Lao in the Maldives Challenge Cup 2014, that was my most frustrating.
Mhm.
What I want to be remembered for?
Yep.
I think I just want to be remembered as, like, being honest, growing up, like my idol, one of my brother's idols growing up were David Beckham, Eric Cantona, and like the likes of you got Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, and but you had guys like you remember them when you got, and I'd like to feel I really helped Philippine football develop and inspire lots of kids. That's the reason they got into the sport, and they enjoy the sport, and I just like to be a big part of an influence on these young kids. Also, like as a key member of helping the Philippines achieve make history. So yeah, I wouldn't say I want to be known as the David Beckham of the Philippines, but in turn, like with the celebrity status and everything. But I think I just want to be known as a player whenever it came to the game, he did his best. He worked as hard as he could, and really played his role in the team, really, and was a great player and a great member and great player to play with. And so I just want good things to be said about me when I finish with playing. And I don't know what the future holds in terms of my role after football, but I still want to be involved in any way I can.
All right. John Londerio, I think James gave you all the answers that you need. We only have a few minutes left, but just
Oh
uh,
wow!
yeah, I have like a couple more
We can do part
questions.
two.
We can do part two if you want. We can schedule you on another
if,
time.
if if the fans want it, I will do it. Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this 30 minutes or 45 minutes is not enough for them. I'm sure they're gonna ask for part two, so we're definitely up for that.
awesome.
Probably the last two questions that I have right now for
Sure.
you is that it's been years that you've been playing with your brother, Phil Younghusband,
Hmm.
since you have started playing football in England. Also, you've
Yep.
played together in Chelsea reserves up until Davao Aguilas. But now with Ceres Negros FC, it's been the first time in years that you haven't played with Phil. And looking into the future, Phil already announced his retirement from football. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about not playing with your brother over the next few years?
Um, that's a good question. Now, of course, it's I've played with I've every team. Oh, shit. Every every team I've played with my brother since we're young kids, since we're like six, since grade school, we've been with each other in every team: grade school, high school, province, like country, district, Chelsea. So it was only maybe my brother was at Chelsea 1 or 2 more years than me after I left, and then. But of course, that's life. It's part of football as well. Like I remember even watching Phil Neville talk about when he left Manchester United to get more football, and he wasn't playing with his brother anymore. Again, it's part of everyone has their own path. Like me, I wanted to play a bit more longer. While my brother, his baby's actually due in 3.5 weeks time. So he's at that stage in his life. And, I think he himself has said he would like to come back eventually to the Philippines and help Philippine football in another way, in another role. But of course, you still share those memories from before. I remember he scoring his 50th goal for the Azcals like a couple of years ago, and that was a big moment. I remember his like. It's good to have those memories as well, and it's good to watch those YouTube clips as well for all the history of the Azcals and with our past teams. But he still keeps we're always in contact every day. Actually, I was just messaging him just now before we came on here. And we have like a family quiz night on Sunday that I'm preparing for. So we're still in contact. He's still following as well. He's asking what the plans are with the league. So like, I mean, we're not going to play with each other like competitively. I think for now, but like we're still connected in another form of football. Still have that relationship, and who knows? Maybe me and him will be both managers or coaches for a Philippine team in the future. So who knows what the future holds? I think that's what's exciting, and yeah, I miss playing with him. But it's great to know that he's still following me and keeping tabs on Philippine football. Yeah, just first off, I'd like to say thank you guys for all your lovely questions. Thank you for tuning in, and of course, thank you for the support over these last. I've been now with Philippine football for 15 years, and it's like there's been ups and downs, and especially during those downs, it's been fantastic. All the messages of support that really lift me up and keep me playing the sport and keep me. And really inspire me. And I look forward to. I'm thankful for the past. I'm looking forward to the future, especially after this pandemic, of playing football and interacting with all the fans and sharing some more glory in the future. And looking forward to, especially like celebrating Sarah's getting into the AFC Champions League. So it's like it is really true. Football is nothing without fans, and I'd like to say a big thank you to all you guys. And as well, really important, continue to stay safe, be cautious, and look after yourself with health as well. It's gone again.
Your
The mic
mic,
is gone again. The mic is gone again.
Can you hear me now?
Around.
There we go. So that's
Yeah.
James Younghusband of Ceres Negros
If we're
FC,
gonna,
and I'm getting the hang of putting myself on mute and not getting back into the stream. So
okay.
yeah,
I
but
thought we need to buy you a microphone for Christmas.
I know. I just keep on placing myself on mute. But thank you so much for the time.
Okay.
I'm sure that this is not going to be the
Thank you,
last
guys.
time that we're going to be
Awesome.
talking to you. We'll never know. We might have you and Phil in
Yeah.
the
My
podcast.
brother would be game for that.
There we
Yeah.
go. So again, thank you so much for being a part of this. Once again,
Thank you.
guys, that's
Thank you,
James
guys. Thank you.
Younghusband of Ceres Negros FC and Philippine Ascos.
Salamat, sir.